Yo, what is up, guys? This is Schultz31, back with a brand new video. Today, we are going to be talking about the most overrated head coaches in college football. This is my top 10, and again, this is just my opinion. This list will be based off both a lot of the hype I hear surrounding these head coaches, as well as where they're ranked. At number 10, I have Matt Campbell. Many people will disagree with me on this, but personally, as good as Matt Campbell has done for Iowa State standards, like the great year he had in 2020, if you take a look at both his record and a lot of the great players he's had come through there that are now in the NFL, it will shock you. His overall record was 53-48, which again is good for Iowa State standards, but since that breakout year in 2020, he hasn't really done much. They actually had a losing season back in 2022, and although 2021 they were not bad, they were still a major disappointment despite having Brock Purdy as their quarterback. And of course, 2023 was a bounce back year from 2022, but it was still nothing special as they again went 7-6. His best season was 9-3 back in the COVID year, and his overall conference record is 38-34, only 4 games above 500. I definitely think he is a good head coach, don't get me wrong, but I'm tired of his name always being in every single coaching searching list. This next one is going to be kind of confusing, and I originally didn't want to put it on here, but at number 9, I have the modern version of Dabo Swinney, 2021 through 2023. Dabo Swinney has been a great head coach for Clemson, and he's won 2 national titles and made the playoffs 5 years straight. And even though he's still done good these last 3 years, they've kind of fallen off. And I don't think by any means that he's overrated all time or for his tenure at Clemson. I think that 24/7 Sports and other ranking systems have him rated way too high. I just saw where 24/7 Sports had Dabo ranked at number 2, despite the fact that he hasn't even made the playoffs since 2020. Clemson's still been good, and he's gone a whopping 30-10. But still, to say that he's currently the second best head coach in college football right now, in my opinion, would be a major overstatement. He hasn't been able to do well with the transfer portal, and he hasn't adapted to a lot of the new modern systems in college football. He overall seems outdated. At number 8, I have James Franklin. Now again, this was another head coach that I kind of was hesitant to put on here, because I feel like everyone thinks he's overrated, despite how well he's done these last 2 years. But then again, despite his great record that he's had at Penn State, when you think about it, the last time he won the Big Ten East was all the way back in 2016. He hasn't beaten Ohio State. And when you look at his record against many other Big Ten teams, it is not great. And every single year, he manages to lose to the same kind of teams. Don't get me wrong, I think he's a great head coach, but I don't think he is worth a lot of the hype he gets. At number 7, I have Hugh Freeze. Yes, I get he turned Liberty into a Group of 5 powerhouse, and he built a program there, and he had a lot of success at Ole Miss, but of course, we all know that was shady business, and it led him to get fired. And although I definitely think he will do well at Auburn, I don't think he's going to win the SEC, though, anytime soon. I also think that he's going to be more like Gus Malzahn, and I feel like Auburn luckily will hold him to lower expectations, and he is recruiting real well, but still, I feel like his name is just way too big, in my opinion. I feel like you hear about him more than you should. At number 6, I have Kirk Ferentz. I get he's done well at Iowa, the long period of time he's been there, but he also coaches in the Big Ten West, which is the worst division in football, and they always seem to get exposed when they play a legitimate team. At number 5, I have Ryan Day. Now, I originally wasn't going to put him on this list due to the fact that I think, if anything, he's overhated, especially by Ohio State fans who want to fire him all because he can't beat Michigan. But I looked at how many sources have him rated in the top 10 and even the top 5, and I just thought that is way too high. Of course, he has done well at Ohio State. He even made the national championship his second year there. But Urban Meyer left the program in a good spot for him, and every year he always does have that one game that costs them everything. I think they'll definitely make the playoffs with this new 12-team playoff coming in every single year. And I think they'll probably even beat Michigan this year. But still, I think that is way too high to have him in the top 10 or much less the top 5. At number 4, I have Mario Cristobal. Cristobal, although he did well at Oregon, really wasn't there long enough. And I was kind of skeptical when he first came to Miami. Cristobal's first year was a disaster as they went 5-7 and actually lost to Middle Tennessee. Year 2, they did slightly improve as they went 7-6, but still, it was by no means great, and he had a lot of bad play calling moments, like against Georgia Tech, when there was just 1 minute left to go in the game, and all they had to do was take a knee and run out the clock. Instead, Cristobal chose to elect to go for it, and just 2 plays later, this happened.
Miami is doing.
That's it. Here's Chaney, the straight ahead, tackled, and the ball popped out.
You got to read the clock. Read the card. To me,
Georgia Tech has it with 26 seconds left.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. First down, Georgia Tech.
We had everything we needed. It all ran like clockwork. You could have shut your mouth, cooked, and made as much money as you ever needed. It was perfect. But no, you just had to blow it up. You and your pride and your ego. You just had to be the man. If you'd done your job, known your...
Things like this do make me somewhat more critical of Cristobal and wonder, is he really the right guy for Miami? He receives more hype than he really deserves, in my opinion. At number 4, I have Brian Kelly. Even though Brian Kelly has already done well in his first 2 years at LSU, having back-to-back double-digit win seasons, and winning the SEC West his first year, and beating Alabama and ruining their playoff hopes, there are still some things that I'm very skeptical about with Kelly. Despite the success that LSU had this year, their defense was still terrible. And we don't know whether he was carried by Jaden Daniels these last 2 years or not. And after I saw that most sources had him rated as a top 5 head coach in college football, to say that I was surprised would be an understatement. Kelly is definitely a good head coach and seems like he's building something special at LSU, and in my opinion is the guy that they need. And I definitely think he is an improvement from Ed Orgeron, but still, I definitely do not think that he is a top 5 head coach in college football. At number 2, I have Lincoln Riley. Despite the fact that Riley had elite quarterback Caleb Williams, his team was still a major disappointment in 2023 and was one of the most disappointing teams in college football. His defense was absolutely atrocious, and keep in mind, it wasn't like he built Oklahoma up. He was inheriting a great program from Bob Stoops. And last year, even though he did seem to build up Southern Cal, like I said a minute ago, this year was just a major disappointment. After starting the year 7-1, they completely lost out. At number 1, I have Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders, in my opinion, is the most overhyped head coach in America. Everybody was expecting him to kill it at Colorado, despite inheriting a 1-win team, and the fact that he did well at the FCS level. Do you know how many other schools would have gotten heat for hiring an FCS head coach like Deion? The only thing that really he has is his name. Any other head coach who had coached at that level and had that same kind of success and that exact same record he had there would have not have gotten a Power 5 head coaching job like Colorado. Plus, his play calling at Colorado has not looked great, and this year was an absolute disappointment. Despite the fact that they were still better than they were last year, they still had a losing season and went 4-8. and we're not nearly as great as what everyone thought they would be. Anyway, that's all for this video. Were you surprised by any of these head coaches that were on the list? What head coaches do you think should be on the list? Do you agree or disagree with me? Let me know down in the comments below. Anyway, this is Schultz31, and I'll see you next time.